What is something that's normal in your country but weird for the rest of the world?
Guilty. So you like to write on desks?
Yeah, that's what I
do. In my country, we have this thing where...
Yeah, did you hear about the shooting yesterday?
Yeah, the one in Ohio?
No, the one in Kentucky.
Oh, in Lexington?
No, the one in Louisville.
Yeah, the high school?
No, the elementary school.
Ding!
Oh, lunchtime.
Denmark, if you're not married by the time you turn 25 years old, then on your birthday, you get tied to a pole and get cinnamon thrown at you. However, if you're still not married by the time you turn 30, it's pepper. Here's a video.
I got this one. So I live in Canada for reference. And a lot of people don't know about this, and it's like a really big part of stuff we do here. So let me break this down for you. So around March, April, depending on which province or territory you're in, you start to move from your igloo back into your normal home because the weather starts to warm up and the snow gets too soft to insulate the igloo anymore. So each province has a mandatory date where you have to move out. So like, for example, in like Nova Scotia, I think this year it's April 14th maybe? I'll have to double check, but that's just for safety reasons. If the igloo collapses, there could be a lot of issues, so we have to be sure. So after the mandatory evacuation date, the next day or the day after, all the Canadians will go out and they'll break apart their igloos and they'll bring them to the local distillery. At the distillery, they'll take the snow and then they'll melt it and they'll use it to boil down the sap into maple syrup. Depending on the size of the province will determine how many distilleries each province has. And that's why maple syrup from Canada is so good. It's made with love.
I thought this was a normal thing everywhere until my American friends were like, what the fuck? Why do you do that? That's so weird. So we leave our babies outside when they're supposed to sleep. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, there will often be strollers outside with babies sleeping in them. And I thought it was so weird that this wasn't normal any other place, but it's normal in most of the Nordic countries. I just thought it was a thing everywhere. And also when they are in kindergarten and it's nap time, you'll just see a bunch of strollers outside. And no, they are not cold. They are always packed in the stroller or pram with a bunch of clothes.
Wearing a mask. In Hong Kong, if you're even slightly sick, you wear a mask. You feel ugly, you wear a mask. If you're just lazy and you don't want to do anything, you wear a mask. Most Asian countries actually wear a mask. And it's not because we want to. It's because we grew up knowing that as a society, we need to protect each other. Even if we're looking ugly, we need to protect other people's eyes from seeing our ugly face. So we wear a mask. It's honestly just being a decent human being.
It's already common knowledge that Australians use the word mate for friend, and also we're not afraid of the word cunt. But also, as an extra layer, we will sometimes switch the meaning of those words around and say one word when we mean the other. So it's totally normal to approach a group of friends and say, hey, what's up, cunts, which means, how you going, friends? It's also totally normal in the middle of an argument with someone you don't like to be like, listen, mate, which actually means listen, you cunt.
In my country, it's normal to see 13 and 14-year-olds smoking weed and drinking. We've normalized it. It's just normal.
So I'm from Finland, but I live in the United States. And in Finland, it is absolutely completely so normal to go to a sauna completely naked with both men and women. And everybody's naked. And it's like naked little boys and naked little girls and naked old people. And everyone's just enjoying the sauna. But if I did that here in the United States, that would be extremely weird.
So, in Brazil, we are very obsessive about oral hygiene. And it's very common to see a Brazilian brushing their teeth, flossing in a public bathroom, workplace bathroom, what have you. We also take multiple showers a day, usually like 2 or 3 showers. And we eat pizzas with a fork and a knife. I don't know of any other country that does that. I'm sure there are, but we eat pizzas with a fork and a knife. We also usually put mayo and ketchup on our pizzas. And it's not really considered a fast food. Like, you don't typically get pizza like as a takeout, at least not where I'm from in Brazil. You go out to like a nice restaurant and you have like a pizza rodizio, and bro, when I tell you they have every single topping imaginable on a pizza, corn, chicken, catupiry, banana, chocolate, anything, like we have.
So at 6 o'clock every day in Ireland, RT1, which is the main public service broadcaster in Ireland, has like a little minute long segment, and it's just bells ringing and people doing normal everyday things. And what that is for, it is to let everybody know that The Simpsons is going to be on soon.
This is a lot, so bear with me. Everything is closed, so nobody can get a job. But everything is also open because the government wants to keep the economy running. But nobody can work. The government also doesn't want to pay us to stay inside like the other countries are doing. Allegedly, we can't afford it. We can afford, however, to give bailouts to a bunch of these bigger companies, however, like the $1 million company. That we have money for, even though they're still not paying their employees who still have to work hazard pay or any extra an hour to be working during a pandemic. People that rent out apartments, mortgage companies, loan companies, they still expect pay from people, even though they know that for the last year, millions of us have been out of work. Somehow we're still supposed to have money to pay them. They feel like the pandemic shouldn't affect them somehow. The government doesn't want to pay them either. Then there's anti-maskers versus maskers. Maskers are mad at the anti-maskers because they're putting everybody in danger by not wearing a mask, which is true. But neither group is supposed to be outside their home because we're all supposed to be quarantined until this is over. Oh, and everybody's solution to get out of poverty during a pandemic is to start a business.
So there's this one thing that us Singaporeans practice, right, which I feel like nobody else in the world ever does this. So we can only say the word me 2 times. So if you say me 1 time, 2 times, okay. Say me 3 times, cannot.
Well, I'm from Canada, and I would have to say one of the strangest things is the hundreds and thousands of missing Indigenous women every year that don't get looked into or solved.
We signalize with our lights, and that means the police is near. When you clink glasses, you need to drink. When you're talking to someone and they suddenly sneeze, we don't say bless you, we say true. You can only have 1 window open in your house. If you have 2 in the same room, it can kill you. In other countries, when you have guests, they will say like, it's time to leave, bye. But here they will stick for like an hour or 2 when they are at the doorstep. If a black cat crosses your road, you need to spit 3 times to get rid of the bad luck.
In my country, we can talk to birds. Watch this.
In Australia, we put chicken salt on our hot chips, and a couple of years ago I assumed that that was like a normal thing around the world, chicken salt. But I realised it's only Australian, because when I went to London, I asked for chicken salt to be put on my chippies, and they looked at me like, what is chicken salt? I've never heard of chicken salt. Does it taste like chicken? I was like, what do you mean you don't have chicken salt? She said, we've got garlic salt if you like. That's quite nice. It's like, no thank you, I don't want garlic salt. I go, you really don't know what chicken salt is? And she's, no, that sounds cool though. I mean, when I come to Australia I might try it, but I've never heard of chicken salt. It's like, oh my god, you're missing out, bro.
I have a good one. In Sweden, you can just type in the name of the person on Google. It will come up what's his full name, date of birth, where he lives, what car he drives, how much he earns, everything. You have everything on the internet. Like, it's free for everyone to just check. I think that's very unnatural. Like, it's very special.
Everything has to be translated into at least 3 languages. Let me explain. I live in Switzerland, a small country in the center of Europe of a population of about 8.5 million people. And there are 4 national languages: German, French, Italian, and Retro-Romansh. The thing about Retro-Romansh is that it's spoken by a very small part of the population, so it's not as widely used in business. If you're running a nationwide business, your website needs to be in 3 languages. Brochures, 3 languages. Instructions, 3 languages. Product boxes, 3 languages. Even on these tiny mini ones, 3 languages. Sometimes if large companies do a presentation, they will actually do it in 2 languages, or people will get headphones to hear the language and being translated automatically. Last fun fact, in some small villages in cinema, you will actually have the movie with the translation of 3 languages as subtitles taking up half the screen.
Here are some things that are getting normalized. Here in America, we worship and put criminals on a pedestal just because they're black. Here in America, you can be whoever you want. You can identify as whatever or whoever you want to be. Like, I could be a shoe. I identify as a shoe. And if you don't think that's okay, then you're homophobic.
I have a good one. Okay, so I'm Canadian. I thought this was normal until I moved to New York City, and then I realized that this is just a Canadian thing, but apparently the rest of the world doesn't have house hippos. And like, not only do they not have them, they don't even know what they are, because I asked my friend in New York whether their apartment had a house hippo, because I was hoping mine would have one, because everywhere I've lived has had at least one. And they just looked at me and told me that their apartment has bed bugs, which...
We keep live fish in our bathtub before Christmas. You go to a store, you purchase a live fish that you bring home in a plastic bag, and you let it live in your bathtub, because this kind of fish, it's a carp, I believe, and it lives in like muddy waters, and it's kind of gross, so it needs to cleanse itself in like clean water before you can eat it. So my family used to do this every year up until a few years ago, and every year I named the fish Michael. So every year before I wanted to take a shower, we had to put Michael in a bucket.
Same time next week.
I was born in a country called Guyana in the northern tip of South America. Guyana is made up of 6 different ethnic groups. Amerindans, who are our indigenous natives to Guyana, the East Indians, Africans, Chinese, Portuguese, and European. And we celebrate each other. We celebrate our differences. We celebrate everybody's individual wedding traditions and birthday traditions and festival, and everybody takes part in everything. Like, there are Hindus who have Christmas trees. And there are Black people who dance to Bollywood songs, and they even speak a little bit of Hindi, and they're fucking good at it. And Muslims who, when they celebrate Eid, have their neighbors of all different religions come over to their house for like dinner or lunch. I'm not saying racism doesn't live there, it lives everywhere. One people, one nation, one destiny.
Okay, when I first moved to Israel from America, I thought this was so weird, but it's kind of good, I think. They put spices on their pizza.
In Saudi, these are seats. I fear nothing right now, because as a kid, I used to look at death in the eyes, written in dangerous in 3 languages, and I decided to sit.
In Thailand, it's common to be named after things or animals like pig or chicken or watermelon. So that's very weird.